Hello everyone, welcome back to our opening series that is Understanding Chess Openings with Atul Dahale. We received great response for the first part of the King's Indian. That's why I decided to go for the second part of the King's Indian. And today we are going to look at a very beautiful game played by one of the experts of King's Indian. Well guys, I want to tell you one thing, that if you want to study King's Indian in a better way, like through a book, then there is one book called as the King's Indian Warfare, written by Ilya Smirin. He has I have read that most of the book, and I really enjoyed the way he has talked about. He has not written, like, he has not given the title as King's Indian Defense. He has said like King's Indian Warfare. So you can already see that he is a very attacking player while playing the King's Indian. And fortunately for us, in the ongoing online chess Olympiad, Ilya Smirin was playing with the Israel team, and he played one amazing game in King's Indian Warfare opening, you can say. Okay, so we are going to look at that game and we'll understand how a strong player, an experienced player plays in King's Indian. Okay, so the game starts with d4. Ilya Smirin is black, his opponent Marek is white over here. Knight to f6, c4, g6. Well guys, before we go further, I would like to tell you that our first video, if you are not checked out, do check it out. I have given the link in the description as well as I section above. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you are new here. So let's go further. Knight c3, bishop g7, e4, okay, d6. This is the starting position of King's Indian. I hope that you have already studied the first video. Knight f3, castles, bishop to e2, and now here knight d7. Well, we talked about e5 is also one of the possibilities, and knight d7 followed by e5 is also a very good option in this position. White went on to castle, and now you play e5. Here white played bishop to e3. As I mentioned earlier that black can wait in this position by playing the moves like a5 or even c6. These are the waiting moves. There is also one more interesting waiting move is queen e7, because ultimately after c6 you need to play queen to e7 at some point. So he plays queen e7, which is a very useful move. Black is preparing for attacking on e4 square after he captures on d4. Okay, so white plays d5, just blocking everything in the center of the board. And now what do? Yes, we need to play on the king side, because the king side is inviting us and the center is also closed. Okay, and the thing is that white will be playing on the queen side, so we have to focus everything on king side. So for that reason we need to move our knight. There are two alternatives here, knight h5 as well as knight e8. Playing knight h5 sometimes is kind of risky, because when you play f5, for example, I'll just show you. If f5 is played, white plays this move, and there are certain possibilities that knight can move, and then you need to save your knight on h5 square. So that's why experienced players go for knight to e8, which is what Ilya Smirin played in this position. Knight d2, and now you play f5. You go all the way on this side of the board, f3, and then f4. Bishop goes to f2 square, and now what do? Is your attack like completely nourished? No, not at all. It is still going on, and you need to open up the position in a bigger way. Now g5 has been played. Of course, white will also try to do something on the queen side. And now we need to bring our major pieces into the attack. So rook f6, queen to c2, and now he swings the rook to g6 square. Well, another possibility was also there, that playing king h8, rook g8, but that is a very slow possibility. So rook f6 followed by rook g6 is a very good idea. Okay, white continues with his strategy, playing on the queen side. c5 has been played. Knight comes on f6 square. Of course, we need to bring our bishop also in the attack. Okay, so don't forget to bring that bishop by moving the knight from its path. Okay, some things are there which we need to understand, which we need to remember also. C captures d6, he captures on d6 square, rook fc1. Okay, white is focusing on the c file. And just to let you know, like in this game, Ilya Smirin did not care anything about the queen side. Means opponent captured some pawn and some pieces also. I'm going to show you everything. Stay tuned till the end, because this is a very instructive game. But I want to tell you one thing, like, you need to be fearless while playing King's Indian opening from black side. If you are afraid of your opponent's attack, then you cannot really play it, because King's Indian is opening where you have to be dynamic. You have to take risk, and then only you will be rewarded. Okay, fair enough. Enough of the talk. Now g4 is the move which was played here. Knight comes on b5 square. The pawn on a7 is hanging, and knight c7 is also one of the threats. Okay, what to do? Are you going to push the pawn to a6 square? Well, a6 is a possibility, but in that case this knight will jump to c7 square and there will be bunch of exchanges, which is not something which you want in this position. Another thing is also there, the knight will be jumping on c4 square, the pawn on d6 will be attacked, and you are not in a position where you can allow so much of play from your opponent. So if your opponent is going to capture the pawn on a7, just give it to him. Okay, so here one more thing I would like to tell you, that you need to try and retain the light square bishop in this position, because your dark square bishop is not coming in the attack. Okay, so you have to retain this bishop on c8. So he plays bishop d7. Okay, knight captures on a7 and now g3. A very important move. Why are you playing this move? Because you want to destroy your opponent's king side. Okay, capturing on f3 is not a good idea, although you are opening up the g file for the rook, but bishop will be coming here, there will be some support, so don't play like that. G3 has been played, hg3, fg3. Now there is a very clear-cut idea that if black manages to get the queen on h4, then this will maybe lead to a check and mate. There are other alternatives also. Bishop h3 is also going to come when the queen will be on h2 square, and rook should come on the h6 square. But for the time being, bishop is the one who is stopping everything. But no problem. The f4 square can be guarded now by playing knight h5. Of course, it is going towards the knight f4. Always look out for the holes in your opponent's camp. Okay, knight f4 is something which we will be playing. Bishop b5. Okay, bishop h6. We need to exchange this bishop, because once you exchange that bishop, the rook will also come on the h file. Queen h4 will come, and then, as I mentioned earlier, there will be some checkmating chances. Okay, he plays queen b3. And now rook captures on a7, a very important move. Why is he giving up the rook for the knight? Because he wants to distract this bishop on e3 square. Now the bishop goes to okay, you can capture over here. He did not capture in the game. Then see here, bishop into b5 is also one of the moves which will be played. The piece is hanging, but the thing is that rook into a7 and the bishop into d7 was played. Queen captures d7 and he captures here, and then bishop into d2 was played. Well, in all these things, the main defenders from the white side are gone. Okay, his attack on the queen side has failed, and now it's time for black to play on the king side, means just to smash his opponent. Okay, he played on the king side, he activated his pieces, and this is how you need to play in King's Indian. Okay, so he played rook to c2, no problem. b5 has been played. The idea is quite clear that he wants to capture on a7 square. He plays bishop e3, bishop e3, queen e3, and now knight lands on the f4 square. Well, here black is already winning because he has two knights on the board. White kept on playing for some time, but this is just a matter of technique, you can say. Rook c8, no problem. Rook h2, the pawn on g2 is hanging. He played rook 1 c2, but now here comes the sacrifice. Rook captures g2. Rook captures g2, queen captures g2, rook g3 was played, knight g7. Okay, this is, as I said, like this is just a matter of technique. I'll be going through the game very quickly. Queen c2 came on the board, king a7, knight c2 check, and g3 is also gone. So he's just one piece up in this position, and he gave some checks, and the pawn on h file is going to decide the game very soon, and it is going to be a checkmate. So after this thing, white just resigned. So I hope that you enjoyed the game, the way he created his own chances by playing knight e8, f5, then f4, then g5, then bringing the rook to f6, then rook g6, then knight f6, and then g4, and not allowing to capture the bishop on c8 also. These are the things which you need to remember while playing the King's Indian. So this was the second part of King's Indian opening, understanding the openings. Okay, I hope that you enjoyed. Don't forget to like this video and share this with your friends also. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll be meeting very soon with some new content, some new video related to the opening. Till that moment, bye bye, take care.